Mr. Tough Guy, let me assure you, as someone who's done his own fighting as opposed to excitedly encouraging others to do it for him while sitting at home on a comfy chair, peace is always worth a conversation.
That's the time for peace conversation. By the way, and I'm not going to be lectured on morality and toughness by Andrew Tate, whose great idea of toughness and morality is pimping women and then bragging about it on air and trying to quasi-walk it back while simultaneously maintaining many of the same positions and flexing his biceps. But Andrew Tate is dead wrong on a lot of these issues, and the ridiculous posturing about being you're very tough when you want people to make peace with terrorists who just murdered their children. Very, very tough.
So one thing that I've been noticing is that there's a lot of right-wing pundits out there that are going more and more pro-Israel, pro-war. We see a lot of these Republican politicians going back to their old George W. Bush roots and wanting war against Gaza, right? And obviously with the Daily Wire, it is run by a bunch of Jews. So they are a lot more pro-Israel, pro-this, pro-that. Kind of similar to our United States government at the moment, but there's a lot of dishonesty on both sides of the argument here. I think there's a lot of people that are pro-Israel that aren't necessarily telling you the whole story. And look, I'm not a guy that's taking either side. I'm not pro-Israel. I'm not pro-Palestine. I'm not anything like that. I'm pro-America. I'm America first. I'm not Israel first, and I'm not Palestine first, okay? It's simple as that, okay? And I'm not one of those Christians that simps for Israel as well, okay? But let's get to the latest news on this whole rivalry of Ben Shapiro and Andrew Tate, who Andrew Tate had something to reply to with Ben Shapiro saying, Ben Shapiro tweeted, "So just to be clear about this, Palestinian terrorists tried to fire a rocket at Israel. It fell short and hit a hospital, killing hundreds of Palestinian Arabs. Hamas claimed that it was Israel, and the media immediately ran with Hamas's story. Sounds about right." Well, Andrew Tate had this to say. Israel admitted it. Hamas's rockets are not that powerful. He does a quote from the Quran, and he says, "Admit it, you were wrong. Thousands of dying children. Is peace worth the conversation yet?" Because as you guys know, like Ben Shapiro is calling for war. He's calling to wipe out Hamas from the face of this earth, which honestly, I can't disagree with him on that. But obviously there's going to be so much casualties that is this war worth it? And I'll give you my take more on that because Ben Shapiro's take does upset me very much so, because he is acting like a warmongering piece of garbage as well as these Hamas terrorists. And I'll explain more on that. But let's get back to this really quick. So what is the truth on that, right? One thing that you guys got to realize is that Israel is putting out information, presentations actually, that it was actually Hamas had launched or accidentally launched the rockets that hit the hospital. As you can see right here, this is Gaza, and the rockets were launched around this area into the hospital, and that's according to Israel, who said it wasn't us, it was actually them. And they did an entire presentation on this, actually. They initially had a video that had rockets launching up into the air, but honestly, it didn't really show much. It was at night. People are going on X saying that this is complete 100% proof, but there's no proof that we saw video of actual Hamas or pro-Palestine activists or whoever it was launching rockets, and their intent was misfired and it went into, I mean, some kind of misfire. That's crazy that a misfire like that would hit directly on a hospital pretty head on. So that doesn't make sense too much to me that a misfire would just head on to a hospital, killing hundreds of people, which is weird, but whatever. That's their claim, right? It is possible, but it's just, is it probable? I don't know. Now I'm going to get more into that on what I believe is the actual truth, because I don't trust the Israeli government or even the U.S. government, who rolled with the propaganda that the Hamas terrorists were beheading babies, right? There was 40 babies that they beheaded apparently. And Joe Biden and the United States government regurgitated that statement that he claimed that it was the Israel president that told him this information as well. So there's a lot of misinformation going on here. So I can't necessarily trust the Israeli government, nor can I really trust our even U.S. government, to be honest, neither, right? So amongst some of the evidence that the Israeli government provided was a audio clip, Hamas terrorists in their own voices. Listen to the conversation between Hamas operatives as they discuss the failed Islamic Hajjad rocket launch on the Al-Ahli Baptist Hospital on October 17th, 2023. So this was amongst some of the evidence that they also provided, which the evidence basically was a conversation between these two agents saying that there was a misfire and they didn't know whether the hospital that got blown up was from them, and that it was launched around the cemetery area that was close to the hospital. And that's basically the conversation. This is the proof that the Israeli government has given us to prove their innocence in this matter, right? So yeah, even going back to Andrew Tate did retweet the phone call as well, basically replying with a emoji with the Pinocchio nose saying that they are lying, right? That this is all a lie. Of course, you know, I'm not here to tell you what to believe. I'm just shooting out this information for you guys at home watching to make your own best judgment on this situation, right? And one thing that I've noticed about war and governments in general is that they tend to cause their own chaos to do enough emotional support from Americans and other people for them to justify their attacks when they do retaliate against their opponents, right? So it feels like with the whole baby situation and all that other propaganda that they use this as motivational fuel for support for what they're going to do to retaliate, right? So it's over-exaggerated propaganda to get people to support them. And that's one thing that I've noticed throughout history. This is a common tactic that government uses in order to get the people behind war, right? I mean, we've seen that multiple times. Just look at 9/11 is another example of that as well. But you go back to people like Ben Shapiro, who literally made an entire hour of him talking.
And based on what I've seen, it appears
up now.
Basically saying how the Israeli government and Israel in general, which again, he's not the only one pushing this stuff. Many influencers out there are being paid by Talking Point USA, by PragerU, by the Daily Wire, and and are basically making money to push more of the pro-Israel side of this argument, right? So yeah, man. I mean, if you wanna have a take that is pro-Israel and that's all you care about, you go to people like Ben Shapiro and go ahead and watch that shit, right? But if you want something a little bit more nuanced and something a little bit more in the middle, you gotta go to people that don't have any skin in this game, that are just gonna say it the way it is. Ben Shapiro's not my boss. PragerU ain't my boss. I have no obligation to, in any way, shape, or form, to back up their own agenda on this matter. Of course, there's a lot of argument to be said on both sides. At the end of the day, Hamas is a terrorist organization, okay? But I'm just saying we can't be completely one-sided on things. Like both of them have killed a lot of innocent lives, and that's the point that I'm trying to make here. Say Israel has proudly bombing Gaza hospitals for years. Now they're acting like they're too morally superior to bomb another one. Nothing but a bunch of Zionist lies. This bombing is from 2024. Another Gaza hospital hit by Israel strike. 4 dead, 40 hurt. So yeah, so this has been nothing new from the Israeli government, guys. Like, this is nothing new. So this is why when the bombing first happened, it was completely 100% possible that Israel bombed it, because they've done this stuff already in the past. So of course, they come with the proof, and they say that apparently, or big ass presentation and the audio clip that I already described to you guys. So Israel's saying this is not true. This is just propaganda against them. But Andrew Tate doesn't believe a word of it. And of course, Ben Shapiro is doing hour-long podcasts about how the Jews are always victims, right? So I would say, hey, man, believe what you want to believe, but at least come trying to understand the facts of what's going on in this political warfare that's happening currently, right? And in my opinion, man, I would say this. Look, I'm Hispanic. If Mexico was at war with another nation that had nothing to do with the United States, I would say, let them fight it out. Let's not get involved. It is what it is. I know there's plenty of people out there that are dying, but I don't want to send U.S. soldiers to go out there and die for a country that isn't the United States of America. That's where I'm coming from on that, right? So I would say this, Ben Shapiro, if you want war, which he has, he's gone after even people like Tucker Carlson, where Tucker has a little bit of a nuanced take, and he's gone after Tucker Carlson, he's gone after Andrew Tate, he's gone after anybody who might stray away from the Israel agenda that he's currently pushing, along with many of the Daily Wire people as well, staff as well, including Jordan Peterson, who is now a warmongering piece of shit now too. So again, Ben Shapiro, hey, it is what it is, but I'm just stating here, I don't want to go to war. I don't want the United States to fund any more wars. If Ben Shapiro wants to fund the war, if Ben Shapiro wants to suit up and go out there and fight for the Israelites, hey, by all means, put your own money to it. And if you're a Jew and you want to do that, you go ahead and do that. If you're a Palestinian, you're saying free Palestine, you live in the United States of America, go back to Palestine and fight for them. Whatever money you have, you go and fund that war and you go fight for your people. I'm fine with that, because at the end of the day, it's clear that people like Ben Shapiro and all the protesters that are there, Palestine, free Palestines, etc., it's clear to see that they pledge allegiance to two countries, right? Either Palestine, Israel. If you're Hispanic, Mexico. I've seen people wave Mexican flags. I've seen people wave, I'm African American. You're pledging allegiance to Africa. Okay, you can go back to Africa then. So at the end of the day, if Ben Shapiro wants a war, you can go and fund it yourself. You can go fight for it yourself. You can take the whole damn Daily Wire with you if you want, and you go do that. But I don't want my taxpayer money, okay, America first money, Americans, to fund another war. Just like I don't want them to fund the Ukraine war anymore neither. There's too much issues that we're having here in the United States that need taken care of outside of another war to be funded, especially for war that is for a bunch of people that are already in government who are Jewish, by the way. Check this out. So there's a whole bunch of people that are in power currently that are under the Biden administration that are Jewish, that have a big agenda to go to war and to wipe out Palestine from the face of this planet, okay? Yeah, this is something that is a problem, right? We have a lot of people that have an agenda that pledge allegiance to other flags that are in our government. And this is not just the Jewish state, but it's also Palestinians, like the AOC squad that is currently pushing for free Palestine as well. So they have an agenda too, So it's not just that, but obviously the United States government has a lot of Jewish representation in there, as well as like Hollywood, and the Jews also own many of the banks, etc. So they do have a lot of influence, and I think this is why obviously there's a lot of people, not even just the United States, but there's a lot of the West, from UK, Germany, France, Italy, India, Canada, have all pledged pro-Israel stance already. I'm just giving this information just to clear out the air. I'm America first. I'm not Israel first. I'm not Mexico first, okay? I'm America first. So yeah, again, guys, this is the state at the moment. You have Andrew Tate and Ben Shapiro on both sides of different topics here. Andrew Tate is I believe a net positive for the world. He has multiple charities that are donating to the Palestinian children, as well as the Israeli children as well that are getting hurt out there. So I like that about him. Shapiro, along with many other right-wing pundits and Republicans as well, like Nikki Haley, who has already called for war as well. Yeah, man, it just doesn't leave a good taste in my mouth. But hey, it is what it is. Tell me down below all y'all's thoughts on this matter, the attack on the hospital, Andrew Tate's opinion, Ben Shapiro. I mean, you guys know where I stand on this. Tell me down below if you disagree. If you agree with me, let me know. I'm your host, Jake Var. This has been Project Veal Pod and Trump 2024. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.